Have you ever found yourself lying awake at 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, and wondering if you have done enough? The silence of the night has a way of amplifying our deepest fears about the future. You look at your bank account and you see a decent amount of money, perhaps $100,000. But the weight of the world in 2026 makes that number feel smaller than it used to. You see the prices at the grocery store continue to climb, and you hear the news talking about the shifting economy, and a cold shiver runs down your spine. You think about your children and your grandchildren, and you see how hard they are working just to keep their heads above water. And then the thought hits you, the one you try to push away every single day. What if I run out of money before I run out of time? What if I become a burden to the people I love the most because I did not prepare properly for these later years? If you have felt that knot in your stomach, I want you to take a deep breath right now. You are not alone in this feeling, and more importantly, your situation is far from hopeless. In fact, if you are sitting on $100,000 today, you are actually standing on the threshold of a massive financial breakthrough. Most people see $100,000 as a safety net, something to be guarded and tucked away for a rainy day. But the wealthy see it differently. They see $100,000 as a high-performance engine that is ready to be ignited. Today, we are going to look at a realistic and data-backed map that leads from where you are now to a $1 million reality. This is not a story about winning the lottery or picking a lucky stock that goes to the moon overnight. This is about the quiet power of mathematics and the discipline of a person who understands that true freedom is built step by step. We are going to explore the 7-year cycle that can transform your life if you have the courage to follow the plan. By the time we finish this conversation, you will no longer see your future as a series of question marks. You will see it as a series of intentional moves that put you back in the driver's seat of your life. Let us start by looking at why the first $100,000 is the absolute turning point in any wealth-building journey. The legendary investors of the past always said that the first $100,000 is a nightmare to collect. It takes years of discipline, cutting back on dinners out, and saying no to things you want, so you can say yes to your future. But once you cross that line, the game changes fundamentally. In the early stages of saving, 90% of your progress comes from your own labor and your own sweat. But at $100,000, your money begins to develop a voice of its own. A 10% return on a small savings account of $10,000 is only $1,000, which barely covers a car repair. But a 10% return on $100,000 is $10,000. That is nearly $1,000 every single month that appeared without you having to lift a single finger. This is where the invisible force of compound interest starts to show its true face. Albert Einstein famously called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, for a very good reason. It is a snowball rolling down a mountain that starts small but gains massive momentum with every foot it travels. The beauty of the 7-year cycle is based on a mathematical principle called the Rule of 72. This rule tells us that if you can achieve a 10% annual return, your money will double every 7.2 years. Think about that for a moment. Without adding another single penny of your own money, your $100,000 becomes $200,000 in 7 years. 7 years after that, it becomes $400,000. And 7 years after that, it becomes $800,000. By the time you reach the end of that third cycle, you are knocking on the door of $1 million, just by letting time do the heavy lifting. But we are in 2026, and we know that we do not want to just wait for 20 years to see results. We want to accelerate that journey while maintaining the highest level of security and peace of mind. This is where the strategy of the elite 2% comes into play. To reach $1 million in a single 7-year cycle, we have to look at how we fuel that $100,000 engine. If you can continue to contribute even $2,000 a month to that initial base, the math becomes explosive. With a consistent 10% return and those monthly contributions, you are not just waiting for the money to grow, you are forcing it to grow. But the biggest mistake people make at this stage is chasing high-risk investments because they are impatient. They hear about a new digital currency or a risky startup, and they throw their hard-earned $100,000 into the fire. This is the fastest way to return to zero and stay stuck in that cycle of anxiety forever. True wealth in 2026 is about building a portfolio that allows you to sleep through a market storm. I want to introduce you to a concept called the 30-50-20 Peace of Mind portfolio. This is designed specifically for the person who cannot afford to lose but wants to win. These are low-cost index funds that track the top 500 companies in the United States. These companies are the engines of the global economy, and by owning a piece of all of them, you are betting on human ingenuity. Next, we put 50% of your assets into cash flow investments. This is the part of the plan that actually cures your anxiety. We look for high-quality, dividend-paying stocks and real estate investment trusts, often called REITs. These investments pay you regular checks every month or every quarter, regardless of what the stock market is doing today. When you see that deposit hit your bank account while you are enjoying a cup of coffee on your porch, your brain begins to realize that you are no longer a slave to a paycheck. You are seeing the fruits of your capital in real time. This 50% provides the psychological floor that keeps you from panicking when the news tries to scare you. The final 20% is your protection layer. In 2026, we use inflation-protected securities and high-quality short-term bonds. This is your dry powder and your emergency shield. If the market takes a dip, this 20% stays stable, giving you the confidence to stay the course while others are selling in fear. This balanced approach is how you turn a nervous plan into a bulletproof reality. But even with a perfect portfolio, there is a silent killer of wealth that we must address. It is called lifestyle creep. And it is the reason why people making $200,000 a year are still living paycheck to paycheck. As your investments grow and your income increases, the temptation to upgrade your life becomes overwhelming. A better car, a bigger house, or more expensive hobbies feel like a reward for your hard work. But every time you increase your cost of living, you are pushing your freedom date further into the future. You are trading years of your life for a temporary feeling of status. The truly wealthy in 2026 are those who live below their means so they can live above their fears. They understand that a brand new car loses value the moment you drive it away, but a well-placed investment gains value while you sleep. If you can keep your expenses stable while your wealth accelerates, you will find yourself crossing that $1 million finish line much sooner than you ever imagined. Now, some of you might be thinking that you do not have $100,000 yet. You might be starting with $10,000 or $20,000, and the mountain looks too high to climb. I want you to listen closely. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and the journey to $1 million begins with the first $100. The principles remain exactly the same. The only difference is the amount of time it takes to build that initial momentum. If you start today by automating your savings and putting your money into a growth and income strategy, you are already ahead of 90% of the population. Most people spend their entire lives waiting for a lucky break that never comes. By taking action today, You are creating your own luck. You are deciding that you will not be a statistic of the WHO tree crisis that is looming over the world. Think about what your life will look like when you no longer have to worry about the cost of healthcare or the price of gas. Think about the look in your children's eyes when they realize that you are financially independent and secure. That peace of mind is worth more than any luxury item you could ever buy. It is the ultimate gift you can give to yourself and your family. As we move forward through 2026, the economic landscape will continue to shift. There will be days of uncertainty and months of volatility. But the person with a plan is never at the mercy of the wind. You have the map, you have the engine, and you have the fuel. The only thing left is to keep your hands on the wheel and stay the course. $1 million is not a fantasy. It is a mathematical certainty for those who are disciplined enough to wait for it. Do not let the noise of the world distract you from the quiet growth of your future. Every day that you stay invested is a day that your money works harder than you ever could. You have worked hard for your money for decades. Now it is time to let your money work hard for you. Start by looking at your current assets and identifying where you can optimize for growth and cash flow. Review your expenses and find the leaks in your financial bucket that are preventing you from building real wealth. Most importantly, believe that it is possible for you. Your age, your background, and your past mistakes do not define your financial future. Your decisions today are what will define the next 7 years of your life. Choose freedom. Choose security. Choose to be the person who took control when everyone else was complaining. The path to $1 million is open, and it starts with the first step you take after this conversation ends. I believe in your ability to master your finances and reclaim your peace of mind. Thank you for spending this time with me. Your future self will thank you for the choices you make today. Keep planning, keep investing, and keep moving toward the life you deserve. I look forward to hearing about your success as you cross each milestone on this journey. Stay focused and stay encouraged. The best years of your life are still ahead of you.